We are in the year of our Lord 2023. Why is there still a crop in 4K 60? So earlier today, LUMIX announced two new cameras, the S5 Mark II and the S5 Mark IIX. Now, full disclosure, I don't actually have this camera in hand, but that being said, this is more of a reaction of what I think about the update with either one of these cameras. Now, if you are looking for a more in-depth review of the S5 Mark II, you should check out my buddy Pav's channel. He just put out his review of the S5 Mark II this morning, and I'll leave that link in the description below. So with that, let's get into some of the updates. First things first, phase detect autofocus. We've been asking for it for quite some time, and that is something that LUMIX did deliver on, and I feel like is their key marketing for this camera. Matter of fact, a few days ago when they were announcing the event for announcing the camera, they were using very cryptic messaging for phase detect autofocus. And so clearly this is kind of what they're seeing as the big marketing point of this camera. So let's move on to some other features. One other feature is a brand new sensor with improved IBIS. Now this sensor has been a collaboration between Leica and LUMIX, and so we can hope for some better image quality. Not that the S5 had bad image quality by any means, but hopefully this means better image quality and again, a little bit more performance on the IBIS. Now with the new sensor, you now get 6K resolution. So the S5 Mark II or the S5 series cameras are officially 6K shooting cameras, which is amazing. Now something to keep in mind, while the 6K is 10-bit, it is still 420 and it is only available in long GOP. And so that is something you want to keep in mind when you are using the 6K resolution. And it is also only shooting up to 30 frames per second. Another thing that got updated with this camera is no record limit. I can't tell you how many times I got comments saying in the video where I talked about why I switched from the S1H to the S5 that the first deterring factor for them to switch would be the recording limit. No longer is there a recording limit on the S5 Mark II or the Mark IIX. Now something we saw implemented with the GH6 and we now see in the S5 series cameras is SSD recording. For a couple $100 more, if you get the Mark IIX, you will be able to shoot in ProRes to the SSD if you're shooting in higher resolutions and 1080p if you're shooting to the SD card. And so those are some of the standout features that I've noticed from these cameras. Again, they're not all the features, but those are the things that spoke to me the most. But with that said, what are my thoughts on this camera after seeing this announcement? And I'll be honest, I have mixed feelings. While I really do like what they've done with these cameras, I want to talk about why I may not upgrade from the S5 to either one of these cameras, because there are some things that kind of annoy me about this camera. And so you can call this kind of my hot take on the S5 Mark II and Mark IIX. The first thing that bugs me about these cameras is with the base S5 Mark II, you at this point have no RAW recording options to an external monitor. What? So now you go from the S5 that can do both ProRes RAW and BRAW, and with the base S5 Mark II, you cannot do either. Maybe some people don't want to shoot RAW, and that's totally fine, and for that, by all means, go with the base model. But if you want right now any capability of shooting RAW externally, you just have to pass over the base model and go with the X. And so for that really annoys me. The fact that I can shoot RAW externally to the S5 is the one reason why I probably will not be upgrading right away to either one of these cameras, because I still have the ability to shoot RAW externally with the older S5 than I do with the baseline S5 Mark II. And not to mention at this time, the S5 Mark IIX does not shoot B-RAW. And so for somebody like me that does shoot B-RAW and has a video assist, I can't really shoot externally with a camera, period. And so that is another reason why I may not upgrade. So my next negative is the fact that why is there still a crop in 4K 60? We are in the year of our Lord 2023. Why is there still a crop in 4K 60? And beyond that, why is there not a 4K 120 option? That to me maybe says there's an S1H upgrade coming that they're trying to save that full frame 4K for, and maybe that's it. But why in 2023 are we still cropping in high frame rates in higher resolutions? And so those are a couple of my negatives, and I know I kind of went a little bit hard on those negatives, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be someone that just sees negatives. I really do like what they're doing with these cameras, but for those two reasons, I don't think I'll be updating. I'll most likely rent these two cameras just so I can bring them to you and give more exposure to them on this channel. But for purchasing, I don't think I'm going to purchase these at this time. But if you're looking for a good, robust camera that has really good codecs, really good resolution options, and really good autofocus, maybe not perfect autofocus, then I would definitely check out the LUMIX S5 Mark II. If you want ProRes or external RAW recording, the S5 Mark IIX. So with that said, this is really meant for a conversation starter. Let me know what you guys think about the announcement. Are you guys excited about this camera? Are you gonna be picking up one? Let me know in the comments below. And so that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a like. And if you're digging the overall content from the channel, consider subscribing. As always, thank you all for joining. Go and find your journey. Go embrace life. Peace.